नमस्सुन्दरनाथाय तस्मै हालास्य वासिने चतुष्षष्टिविधालीला येनाकारि भुवस्थले श्रीमत्सुन्दरनाथस्य देवीं शफरलोचनां कलये हृदये नित्यं कदम्बवनवासिनीं पूतं स्वतः पूततरं ततो यद्गाङ्गं पयः शङ्करमौळिसङ्गात् तत्पातु मातुः प्रणयापराधपादाहते पूततमं ततो नः. We finished with the 55th shloka last class. तमः प्रसरण वर्णनं प्रचलन् अस्ति. प्रतीच्यां ददृशे रागः सस्थास्यति कियच्चिरं प्राच्यां दृष्टतरो ह्येषः भास्वतो भ्राम्यतः सदा प्रणष्टे महसां राशौ प्रादुर्भूतं हि तारकैः तमसा अभ्यावृते लोके तावद्भिरपि किं कृतं ते एव भानवो भानोः तारका वपुषा स्थिताः तथापि एकः स नास्ति इति तमांसि विजृम्भिरे. As he is describing how Surya Astangamana Samaye Tatra Tamaha Sarvatra, it just completely envelops the entire world. And so, as he described the Astamana Samayam, and as the sun was setting, there is a redness in the west. With the description of the nature, he tries to bring in some common vyavahara, that is sadharana jananam vyavaharaha api tatra pratiyamanataya suchyate yena cha it is like a lesson for us, something that he relates to the common man's behavior, and he tries to tell us how the behavior, how the social life was probably, or how we should behave, ityadi. Nature is the best teacher, we say. You learn everything from nature. So here too, he tries to give different imageries to teach us a lot of things. So in the Pranashte Mahasam Rasho Pradurbhutam hi Tarakaihi Tamasa Abhyavrate Loke Tavadbihi Kim Kritam. In this shloka, he tried to tell us that, it is that ultimate knowledge that is necessary to remove every ajnanam that is there in the mind. You cannot do it with the Laukika Jnanam that you have in this world. There are so many small knowledge that we find in this world, which is there. And as we study, we think we have become more knowledgeable. And there is an ahankara associated with that. But to remove even that ahankara, we need that great jyotis. Just as how there may be stars that come about everywhere, kintu tesham alpa prakashena tu tamaha tatra sampurnataya na nirasyate. There is the complete destruction of tamas does not happen with these small stars. You need a huge lustrous object like the sun for the darkness to be removed. Just as so, in the same way, atmajnanasya pradhanyam tu uktam iti pratiyamanarthaha. This is probably the indicative meaning that the poet wants to tell us. Teva bhanavo bhanavaha bhanoho. Those stars are actually a reflection of that big sun. Yes, they are the rays of that big sun. But if that one person is not there, then the darkness can slowly keep on increasing and it will envelop the entire earth. So it doesn't matter whether these stars are the same or not, but the way in which the stars are, they are capable of giving out only small prakasham, small amounts of luster or light. That is not enough to remove the darkness. So when he was not there, this darkness started spreading out because the sun wasn't present. Okay. Now we'll move on to the 56th. He is still continuing with his description of the darkness. Prayo jatyanurodhaya padmamatre nimilati bhanu hasta gatenapi pankajena nimilitam. Padmamatre nimilati sati. When the entire group of Padma Matre nimilati sati, Padma Matre Padmanam samuhe. The matram is used for either alpam or it is a parimanam. as a measure, or it can also indicate the complete community, sampurnam, kartsnyam. So there are many meanings for this word matra in Amarakosham. I don't think I've given the quotation here. No. Okay. The meaning for matra, when it is attached to a word, the meaning that it gives is alpecha parimanecha parimanesa matram kartsnye avadharane. The meanings it can come in are alpam, dvitri matram, or matra dvaya matram, only two. Let's say there are only two objects that I see. Okay, dvivastu matram tatra vidyate, only two, very little bit is there, you can say like that. Or anna matram vidyate iti chet tatra annasya alpameva tatra vidyate iti. There is only a little bit of annam left in the patram. Like in the Akshaya Patram, where Draupadi was trying to give Krishna, Akshaya Patre tu annamatram vidyate chete, tatra kevalam, there is only one grain of rice which was attached to that patram. So the matra can be used in the sense of alpam. Parimanam, the dvimatram, only two, in the sense of that parimanam, only that number or that measure, dvikrosha matram, only for 2 miles it is present, in the sense it is confining it to that particular measure. Avadharanam, Arjuna matram pashyati, Krishna tatra yuddhe, in that battlefield, Krishna was only looking at Arjuna. So avadharana, Arjuna meva pashyan asit Krishna, tasmat Arjuna matram pashyati. Avana mattum paakrangra only. Tamizhlayum you have that same expression. So adu avadharana. Avadharana is evakara arthe, avadharane tam eva pashyati iti arthe tanmatram iti. Or now the example that here, the meaning here Nilakanta Dikshita uses here is kartsnyartham. Kartsnyam is complete, samohartham, in totality. Padma matre nimilati sati. When the sun is gone and there is darkness everywhere, the entire host of group of lotuses are closed. Nimilati sati. When they are closing their petals. Now, Nilakanta Dikshita thinks that Vanuhasta gatena api pankajena nimilitam. Even the lotus that is there in the hand of Surya would have probably closed itself. We don't know. There is usually in the Surya Dhyana Shlokam, Dhrita Padmadvayam Bhanum, Tejo Mandala Madhyagam, Sarva Adhi Vyadhi Shamanam, Chaya Slishta Tanum Bhaje. This is the Dhyana Shlokam for Surya. And there is no source for this. Usually Dhyana Shlokas are present in some, there are texts, Tantra texts, where you will find these Dhyana Shlokas. And in one of some texts, there is no source given as such. So the meaning here is Bhanum Bhaje, I worship Surya, who has 2 lotuses in his hands. Dhrita Padmadvayam, he has got 2 lotuses in his hands. Surya Narayanah ityapi vadamaha, tarhi Narayanasya haste api padmam vartate. So even in the form of Narayana, if you look at Surya in the form of Narayana, then too the Murti Dhyanam has a lotus in his hand. Tejo Mandala Madhyagam, he is in the middle of this Tejas, that is the physical format of Surya, and there is another Murti format which is there inside. Like how we say Himavat Parvatam, every in the first shloka of Kumara Sambhava, you will see Asti Uttarasyam Dishi Devata Atma Himalayo Nama Nagadhirajaha. There is a mountain called Himalayas, which also has a Devata Atma. That is, there is a Devata Swarupam for it and a physical Swarupam for it. Just as how we see this Archavataram in the temples, where that is a physical, or that is an Archavataram. It is not the Swarupam. There is another Swarupam for him. And then there is an abstract format also, which is a Devata Swarupam is also present. There is an Archavataram also. There is a physical format also. There are different kinds in which the god can exist. So in the same way, Surya also, there are 2 types here. In Surya Shatakam, there is a shloka, Tivram Nirvana Hetuhu, Yadapi cha Vipulam, Yat Prakarshena Chanu. There Jyotis Tad Dvit Prakaram. There are two types of Jyotihi of Surya. There is a physical format that you see as the sun which rises and sets. There is also the Murti, which is a Devata Swarupam. And for that Devata Swarupam, there is a format, there is a shloka where you are able to visualize that Devata. He has two Padmam in his hand, Tejo Mandala Madhyagam. He is in the middle of a great circle of lustre. Sarva Adhi Vyadhi Shamanam. He is a person who destroys all the Adhi and Vyadhi. Adhi is Mano Vyatha, Vyadhi is Sharira Vyatha. The diseases of the body, physical body is Vyadhi, and Adhi is mental affliction. One who destroys or one who reduces all these sorts of afflictions, both mental and physical. Chaya Aslishtatanum, his frame, Tanu, his Shariram, is Aslishta, is being Alingana, embraced by Chaya. Chaya is his spouse here. Okay. He has two lotuses. So now we only need that Dhrita Padma Dvayam. Bhanu Hasta Gatena Pankajena Api. Now, even though he has a lotus in his hands, even that lotus has probably nimilitam. It is also probably closed itself because it wants to follow its jati. Jatyanurodhaya prayaha nimilitam. Prayaha, maybe, surely, or possibly the lotus in the hands of Surya also has closed itself. One is there is such a gadham tamaha tatra prasratam asti. There is a great darkness that is there in the entire world that all of the lotuses have completely closed. They have faded. So I am sure even the lotus in the hands of Surya Bhagavan would have closed itself. What is the reason that he gives? He says Jati Anurodhaya. Jati Anurodha. Jati can mean two things. One is Padmatvam, because it is Padma. All the other Padmas are all the other lotuses are all closing itself. So, in order to please its Padma Samoham, Pankajatva Samoham, its community, in order to please the community, it probably also tries to close itself. That is one thing. Jati Anurodha. Anurodha ityukte Aradhanam. In order to please its community. So sometimes it may not be your swabhava, but it's like peer pressure. You want to conform to the society and you want to do certain things, but you don't agree with those things. So Jatyanurodhaya, in order to please the community, this lotus which is there in the hands of Surya Bhagavan, that also closed itself. How can it close? See, Nitya Prakashaha Suryaha, Surya Murti. So Bhanu Hastagatam Mityukte, that which is in the hands of Surya, which means he is the Surya Bhagavan. So Surya Bhagavan has a Nitya Prakasha. It is not something which goes down during the night. Tarhi tasya haste vidyamanasya kamalasya tu nimilena samarthyameva nasti. There is no possibility for it to completely close because it is a divine lotus, number one. And number two, it is ever present under the light of Surya. So it should always keep on blooming there. Divyam. So the divine lotus is the point here. Otherwise, if you keep a flower under the sun constantly, it might just totally fade away because of the heat there. That is also possible. But here, Neelakanta Dikshita tries to give two examples, two reasons for it. He says, Jatyanurodhaya, as if to please its community, it is doing this, or it is probably following its own nature. Jati can also mean swabhavaha. So jatihi jatam samanyam iti. So it is probably just its janma siddhaha swabhavaha. So Padmanam tu swabhavaha evam vartate yat ratrau nimilanam. It has to close its petals at night. This is its nature. Probably that lotus is also following its own nature. Either out of peer pressure or it is doing by its own. Yeah. Just like children who will, either they have the self-motivation or they will do it because of peer pressure. Only two things are possible for kids to do something. So, in the same way here also, this Pankajam, this lotus also, either it wants to please its community, Jatyanurodhaya Nimilitam, Athava Swabhava Anurodhaya, Swabhava Anusaranaya, in order to follow its own swabhava, its own nature, that a lotus should close, it is probably doing this. Okay. Prayaha Jatyanurodhaya Padma Matre, the Alankara here is called Sambandha Tishayoktihi. That is Sambandham. Nimilanam is Bhanuhasta. Sambandha Tishayokti is actually Asambandhe Sambandha. When it is not possible, you are showing that it is possible. Saudagrani Meghan Meghan Aslishya or Sprishtva Tishtanti. There are the top portions of these palaces are touching the clouds. It is not possible, but you are describing it as possible. Then it is called Atishayokti, where you are exaggerating and saying, and that there is a variety of Atishayokti said by Kuvalayanandakara, that it is Sambandha Atishayokti, where there is no Sambandham, but you are creating a Sambandham and saying, Atra kim abhavat Bhanu hasta gata kamalasya tu. See, probably pratyaksham yat sarvaihi drishyate. Yaha Bhanuhu sarvaihi drishyate. Yaha suryaha. Sa suryastu sayankale astam gamishyati. Then again it just rises in the morning. This is the pratyaksha surya that we see. But the dhyanamurtihi tu surya mandale vartate sada spuramanaha. And there is no astamanam for that surya. Tarhi tadhasta gatasya kamalasya tu nimilanam na shakyameva. There is no possibility of closing of that lotus. But here he says that pankajena api nimilitam. So nimilana asambandhe api sambandha varnana. So it is an alankara called sambandha atishayokti. Okay. Prayo Jatyanurodhaya Padmamatre Nimilati Bhanuhastagatena api Pankajena Nimilitam. The next one is Tatha Sandri Bhavanti Sma Tamamsi Haritam Mukhe Vyapnuvanti Hitanyeva Vihanyante Yatha Mitaha. The Sandri Bhavanti Tamamsi. Tamamsi, he takes Tamaha not as one object but many different darknesses. Even if you, let's say you're painting, you can see a night painting. Okay, in that night painting also, you will not, the painting will not be just one black wall. That is not night. There will be small portions of the darkness, each one in different color, in different ranges of darkness. Right? There will be thick darkness or there will be slightly thinner darkness. So it depends on the object. It depends on the surroundings. Let's say there is a light, thin cloth. Nothing is there, but still there is a thin cloth there. You might be able to see something beyond that. You don't know. But if it is a nice solid piece of wood, then that darkness would be even more. Right? Sandram is thick. Tamamsi haritam mukhe mukham ityukte prarambhe. At the entrance of the directions, at the beginning of all the directions, that is, as you are standing, you look in different directions. Then starting from where you are, you will see different kinds of darkness. Tamamsi, but they become darker, thicker and thicker and thicker. Tamamsi Sandri Bhavanti Sma, those, that darkness became extremely thick. Asandram, Sandram Sampadyate. That which is not thick has been made into thick. So Sandri Bhavanti, it's a Chui Pratyaya, Abhuta Tadbhave. The tamas which was till now, you were able to distinguish certain objects. Now it has become slowly, it is becoming thicker and thicker that you are not able to distinguish a lot of things. So tatha sandri bhavanti sma. It became so thick in such a manner, tatha, in such a manner that one tamas covered the other and one obstructed the other. It is like the different darkness kept fighting with each other and trying to envelop each other, it seems. व्याप्तान्येव व्याप्नुवन्तिः तान्येव मिथः विहन्यन्ते च. So tamamsi is your kartrupadam and tanyeva, so tamamsi eva, this is a karma padam here. So tamamsi eva, because it is in napunsakalingam, the beauty here is that you can have it, the napunsakalingam prathama vibhakti and the second vibhakti will look the same. So there is no difference there. But you will have to distinguish by saying which is the prathama vibhakti and which is the dvitiya vibhakti to distinguish between the karta and the karma here. So tamamsi, sandri bhavanti tamamsi. So this is in first case here. Tani eva vyapnuvanti, they cover themselves. They cover them, and mithaha tanyeva vihanyante. This is also again mithaha parasparam tanyeva, they tiro vihanyante tiro bhavanti. They envelop and they cover, they completely vihanyante is also meaning obstructed, vignam kurvanti, or they attack it. Vihanti ityukte, it is attacking also, you can say. You can also call it as obstruct each other. So they cover each other and they also attack each other. Tatha sandri bhavanti sma tamamsi haritam mukhe vyapnuvanti tanyeva vihanyante yatha mithaha. These are simple shlokas. So the next one is a little koncho inno naraya sollano. So Shaivala utpala bhringanam sarasishu nishamukhe sparsha saurabha kujabhihi swam samrupam abudhyata. Nishamukhe, nishayaha prarambhe Shaivala sarasishu, in the lakes or in the rivers. Yeah, I think in the UK, Sarasishu, you can take it as Sarovareshu, lake. Yeah, Sarasi is a lake, Saraha, Kasaraha. Sarasi is the only padam which is in Strilingam I saw in Amarakosham. I don't know if there is another Strilinga padam for lake. There are a lot of Pullinga and Napunsakalinga padam, like Saraha, Tadagam or Tadagaha. These are all words in both Pullinga and Napunsakalingam. But Sarasi is the only word in Strilinga that I saw. So Sarasishu, Sarovareshu, in the lakes and during the beginning of that Rajani, the night, Shaivala Utpala Bhringanam Swam Swam Rupam Abudhyata. The Shaivala abudhyata is they made known their own form. So people were able to understand the forms of Shaivala. Shaivala is moss, Utpala is lilies, the flowers that bloom during the night, and Bhringa are bees. Usually bees are not there during the night, but we will just take it as probably evening time when there is when the flowers that bloom during the night, there are probably bees that are there in that tree which get attracted towards that the lotuses or the lilies which bloom during the night, and they are also there. Okay, probably the bees don't have this nighttime sleeping thing, they have insomnia, who knows. But as Nilakanta Dikshita describes it, he says during the night, Nishamukhe, Shaivala Utpala Bhringanam Kujabihi Swam Swam Rupam Abudhyata. Abudhyata is in Karmani Prayoga here. Bodha Vishayam Akarot. They made their Rupam known to people. That is their, how were they able to show their forms to others? That is, how did we understand that this moss was there in the lake? Because it is completely dark. Nishamukhetu tatra gadham tamaha sarvatra prasritam asit chakshushatu kimapi vastu grahitum na shaknumaha. It is not at all possible for us to use our chakshur indriyam to grasp the objects in the lake. So our other sense organs had to act there to understand the presence of objects here. We cannot understand the presence of objects using our chakshus, because there is no light for the chakshurindriyam to act here. So what are the other sense organs that we can use? Shaivala, for Shaivalam, sparsham. So sparshena, you'll have to break this sentence into 3 different sentences. That is, Shaivalasya, make it into singular. Shaivalasya sparshena swam rupam abudhyata. Because of the touch of that moss, the moss revealed its form using its touch. That is, with the touch, we could understand that the form moss existed there. Because the moss was in the water, jale vidyamanatvat, tasya tu shita sparsham asit. Not only shita sparsham, it had a cool touch, and at the same time, it was very slimy also. Moss has a very slimy touch to it, and that and a cold touch also, because it is constantly present in this water. So because of its touch, we could understand that this was present there. So tvagindriyena, tvak iti indriyena, grahyaha shaivalasya rupam. Okay. Now the next one, Utpalam. Now you know where Nilakanta Dikshita is going with his shloka here. Utpalam tu ghanendriyena, gandhena. So saurabhena, Utpalasya rupam abudhyata. We can, the form of this Utpala, the lily flower, was understood. It was understood using the ghanendriyam or the nose, by its smell, saurabha. So the lily made its form known through its smell. The next is Shrotrendriyam. Bhringasya athava bhringanam kujabihi. Kuja here is tasya ringkaraha, the jhankaraha. Ringaram itradengramulya, the humming of the bees. So the bees, because of its humming, it revealed its form. Swam rupam abudhyata. So Shrotrendriyena Brahmaranam Rupam Grahyate. Rupam itina tasya Prasamam tasya Shabdaha Grahyate Grihyate. Tadanantaram evam tatra Brahmanaha Vidyate iti Jnayate. Okay. So Abudhyata. Jnayate sma. Budhyate sma. This is in Karmani Prayoga. Shaivala Utpala Bringanam. Is it clear here? So this alankara is called Yathasankyam alankaraha. So Yathasankyam kramenaiva kramikeanaiva samanvayaha. So when you are trying to do an anvaya of the words using in the same order in which it is present. So when you say Shaivala, Utpala, Bringanam, then these connect with the Sparsha, Saurabha, Kujabihi. That is why I split it into 3 different sentences and said, Shaivalasya sparshena swam rupam abudhyata. Utpalasya saurabhena swam rupam abudhyata. Bhringanam kujabhihi swam rupam abudhyata. So this is, it is like if 1, 2, 3 will correlate to 1, 2, 3 of the next set. The set theory mari. Idoda 1, 2, 3 and then idoda in the Excel sheet la podra madri, you have to put it in an Excel sheet and correlate it. That is called Yathasankhya. This is applicable even in sutras. There is a specific sutra there, Yathasankhya manudesha samanam iti. Samanam. When there are samanataya yatra, there is a list of things that are given. You will have to do it gradually. Like iko yanachi. Ikaha stane yan syat achipare ik ityukte I u rul yan ityukte yava rala. Then how do you apply which to which? You put an Excel sheet there. I, ya, u, va, r, ra, l, la. Iti. The Yathasankyam is mentioned in the Panini Sutras also. This is an alankara by itself in Kavya Shastram, where kramenaiva, gradually, kramikeanaiva, to its respectively, it is samanvayaha, there is a connection. Okay. So, Shaivalotpala Bhringanam Sarasishu Nishamukhe Sparsha Saurabha Kujabhihi Swam Samrupam Abudhyata. The next one is Nishpapateva Gaganam Nistasareva Sagaraha Avavara Eva Nishesham Avidya Mahati Tada. Gaganam nishpapata iva. It was as if the sky had completely fallen down. Fallen down, na? It was totally enveloping the entire earth. When you look at the sky, there is nothing distinguishable in the sky, probably, because the sky is Akashastu, it is just one vibhu, it is completely encompassing and all that. Now, at night, it was so dark that it seemed like this entire sky had come and dropped itself on this earth like a huge blanket on top. Gaganam nishpapata iva. It was as if the sky had fallen. Sagaraha nissasara iva. That is, it was indistinguishable. You could not distinguish between the sky, the earth, or the ocean here. All three became just one huge mass of darkness. So nishpapata iva gaganam. Gaganam, there was no sky on top. It was as if it had fallen completely. That is, you can even feel the sky right in front of your eyes, something like that. Imagine it in that way. The darkness, gummi written number Tamila. The gummi written, and it is the next shloka is even more beautiful. It's like vetra madri irukkudiya darkness symbol. You can actually cut through the darkness. The nishpapata iva gaganam. You couldn't see the sky distinguishably, so it seemed as if it had fallen completely on the earth. Sagaraha nissasara iva. It seemed like the Sagaraha, the ocean, had disappeared completely, or it had just moved away from its position. We could not distinguish between the ground and the ocean. One could not understand where the ground stopped and where the ocean started. There was so much of darkness. The next one is Nishesham Avavara Avidya Tada. Tada Mahati Avidya Nishesham Avavara Iva. It was as if this great darkness, Mahati Avidya, had completely covered everything. Avavara, Vrunoti. Vavre is in Vrin Dhatu is in Ubhayapadi. There is also yes, Vrinya Varane, Avarane, cover, Churadi actually. It is a Churadi Gana, Vrinya Avarane iti. And for Churadi, it is also an Ubhayapadi. So you can have Varati or Varayati, Varate or Varayate. So depending on which comes the bear, you can have Vavara or Varayan Chakara. You can have Vavre or Varayan Chakre in Litlakara. So he has used this Parasmaipadi Vavara, Varati, Vavara iti. Avavara, asamantat, sarvatra, nishesham, without anything remainder, without anything remaining, completely, it seemed as if a great avidya. Avidya is avidya is ajnanam, actually. Ajnanam is ajnanena avritam jnanam. Jnanam is completely covered by ajnanam. When you have to move in this world as a jiva, taking on this shariram and everything, this ajnanam or avidya is a technical term used in Advaita Vedanta. Vidya is knowledge. So avidya is something that is the opposite of knowledge or ignorance. Okay, absence of knowledge. So avidya is ignorance, ajnanam, and this avidya completely covers everybody in this world, and people are moving around in this world because ajnanena avritaha. They are covered by ajnanam. Now, this tamas has covered this entire world in a manner in which it seems that this mahati avidya, a great ignorance, or this, you call it as nescience in Advaita Vedanta. It's and the English puriyadu namakku. You want to understand that English word, I try to get my mind to work, but it can't. I just call it ignorance or ajnanam. So Agnya, just as how Ajnanam covers this Jnana Swarupa Atma, in the same manner, here also, everything was completely covered. Nishesham avavara iva. So Nishpapateva Gaganam. These are all Kriya Utpreksha. So you are trying to fancy the action. Akasham cannot fall down. but you are imagining that it has fallen down. It is as if, as it were, that the sky had fallen. Nissasara Sagaraha. Sagara has completely drained out. But that has not happened here, right? So it can never happen. Sagara cannot completely dry out. Only Rama can proclaim it. In Ramayanam, Rama would be at, to cross Lanka. Before crossing Lanka, he did worship and tapas dhyanam at the banks of that ocean. He was waiting for the Samudra Bhagavan to appear and give him way to go to Lanka. So he was there doing a tapas form. By the end of probably 1.5 days or 3 days, some time frame was there in Ramayana. Rama becomes very angry. This is one of the places where he shows his Ishwaratvam. The other place, of course, is Jatayu Moksham, where he says, I will send you to, I will give you moksha. And that is also where he shows his Ishwaratvam. Otherwise, Rama has lived the life of a human being. Here he says, Sagaram Soshayishyami. I will dry up this entire ocean. Padbhyam gachantu vanaraha. Let these monkeys walk across this ocean bed. I will dry up this entire ocean, he would say. So it is not possible for the ocean to drain away at all. At that point, Sagara, Samudra Bhagavan gets out of comes in his own Devata format, and he tells him, no, you put some stones and make a bridge and go across. I will, I can only do so much. You are asking me to cross my niyati, that is the rules, dharma that I have to follow. You are asking me to transgress the dharma that I have to follow. So don't do that. You can build a bridge across me and go. So Sagaraha Nissasara Iva. Here also the Samudram cannot drain away completely, but because we could not distinguish between the Samudram and the ground, it seemed as if it had completely drained away. And Avavara Iva, Ajnanam cannot completely go and cover everything. It is not an object, it is not a Chetana Vastu for it to go and cover everything. But it seemed as if it had covered. So this is also another Utpreksha. It is a Kriyayam Utpreksha Vartate. Nishpavateva Gaganam, Nissasara Iva Sagaraha, Avavara Iva Nishesham, Avidya Mahati Tada. The last shloka in the description of this tamas is Ayashrinkhalavat krashtum Ahartum Trunapulavat Asyana Pankavat Chettum Asit Shakyam Tada Tamaha. Tada Tamaha Evam Shakyam Asit. It was possible to do the following to that darkness at that point of time. What was it? How was it possible to do what? Ayashrinkalavatu krashtum. Krashtum ityukte, it is not akrashtum, but krashtum is actually vilikhanam or ullekhanam, scratching, not pulling. If it was akrashtum, then we can say that you can pull it. But shrinkhalam here is actually Ayashrinkhala is an iron chain. It was possible to actually krashtum is only to pull. You can't call it a scratch like a chain. How can it scratch like a chain? The one of the meanings that some translator has given is you can tie the tamas with a chain and pull it. So krashtum, he takes it as akarshanam. Usually you can only do that with the when the upasarga a comes in, you can have it. This is more like a plowing is karshanam, right? I don't know if there is dragging. Yeah, okay. Dragging is more like it. Okay, that makes more sense. So karshanam is also dragging. So ayashrinkalavat, just like an iron chain, a chain made of iron. Ayasaha shrinkalaha ayashrinkalaha. This vati is a pratyaya that you add when you want to say a tulya kriya. Let me first give the meaning of the shloka and then go into the grammar. It's easier that way. Ayashrinkalavati, just like an iron chain, It was krashtum shakyam asit tada tamaha. Tada, at that point of time, tamaha, the darkness, it was possible to pull it, krashtum. It was possible to drag it like an iron chain. Ayashrinkalavat. Trina pulavat. Ahartum shakyam asit. It was possible to ahartum, carry, vodhum, anetum, or to collect, collect it, right? Samhartum. It was possible to collect, or aharaha can mean both collect and it can also mean aharati, bringing. Both meanings will fit here. Trinanam Pulam. Pulam is a sanghata, samohaha. So Trinanam Pulaha, samohavat, iva, it was possible to ahartum, it was possible to carry this darkness. Ashyana Pankavat, Ashyana Ghanibhutam, dried up. Shyai is Gatau. So Ashyanam is, it is completely dried up in all ways. A pankam, a mire or a clay which is totally dried up can be easily cut with a knife, right? So Ashyana Pankavat Chettum Shakyam Asit. Shakyam, it was possible to Chettum, to slice through the darkness or cut it up or split it into two like a dried up mire, dried up pankam. Ashyana Pankam Iva. That is, this darkness was so thick that it was like an object which could actually be dragged or it could be collected. It was not just an absence of light, but it was more thicker than the absence of light, that it seemed to have a shape and a form to it. It's actually, it doesn't have a form. Tamas does not have a form at all, but it seemed as if it had a form here and we could pull it. So here the word ayashrinkala vat is vati is the pratyaya. The sutram there is 51115. Tena tulyam kriya chet vatihi. Tena tulyam kriya. When there is a kriya or an action which is equal to something, then you add the pratyaya vatihi. So tamaha ayashrinkalena tulyam krishyate. It is being pulled like a ayashrinkala. An example you can say is chhatravat pathati. इत्युक्ते छात्रः यथा अधीते छात्रेण तुल्यम् अधीते इत्यर्थः. छात्रेण तुल्यम् अधीते pathati, chatrena tulyam pathati. You can combine chatrena tulyam with the vati pratyaya and it becomes chatravat pathati. Then it is a kriya visheshanam. He reads like a student. In English, it is a simile. But in Sanskritam, when you use vat instead of iva, then it is a pratyaya and the word formed becomes a kriya visheshanam and it behaves like an adjective to the verb, which is an adverb technically. Here also ayasaha shrinkalena tulyam, ayasaha shrinkalaha ayashrinkalaha, ayashrinkalena tulyam krashtum shakyate. So it is possible to perform an action to it as equal to another object. So this is also upama only. But it is since vati pratyaya is a tadhita pratyaya, this is called a tadhitaga upama. Okay. All of these, Trinapulavata also has this vatihi pratyaya. Ashyana Pankavata also has this vati pratyaya. Okay. Ayashrinkalavat krashtum ahartum Trinapulavata Ashyana Pankavat chettum asit shakyam tada tamaha. Okay. Any questions? You can raise your hands. Yes, sir.
First ஸ்லோகால இரவு என்பதாலேயே சூரிய பகவானின் கையில் இருக்கும் தாமரை புஷ்பம் கூட மூடிக்கொண்டது அப்படிங்கிற அர்த்தம் இல்லையா?
ஆமா.
நித்தியமா சூரியன் பிரகாசமா இருந்தாலும் கூட இரவு என்பதனாலேயே சூரிய பகவானின் கையில் இருந்த தாமரையும் மூடிக்கொண்டது.
இரவுங்கிறத விட அந்த இடத்துல ரீசன் கொடுக்கறது என்னன்னா ஜாத்திய நிரோதாயங்கிறார். ரீசன் வந்து இரவு இருக்கிறதுனாலன்னு சொல்லல அவர் பார்த்தேன்னா, the reason he gives is ஜாத்தி அனுரோதாய. ஜாதிங்கிறதுக்கு தான் ரெண்டு விதமா எடுத்துக்கணும்.
ஒரு ஸ்வபாவம், இன்னொன்னு அவங்க கூட இருக்கிற பத்த பத்மங்கள்.
அதான்.
ரெண்டாவது ஸ்லோகத்துல as and when we progress towards the night, ஈவினிங்க வந்து 6 மணிக்கு இருக்கிற டார்க்னஸ் 8 மணி இருக்கிற டார்க்னஸ் கவர் பண்ணுது. அதே மாதிரி 8 மணி இருக்கிற டார்க்னஸ் 10 மணி இருக்கிற டார்க்னஸ் கவர் பண்ணுது. So the darkness slowly gradually increasesங்கிற அர்த்தத்துல எடுத்துக்கலாம்.
காலவத்து அதுவும் எடுத்துக்கலாம். காலம்ங்கிற ஒரு டைமையும் எடுத்துக்கலாம். நான் வந்து தேசம்னு எடுத்துட்டேன். See, there are two ways that you can interpret it. What you said is very beautiful also. இப்ப நம்ம வந்து நிமிஷத்துக்கு நிமிஷம் every second the darkness becomes more and more thick. இல்லையா? So it seems to envelop and obstruct. அது வந்து டைம் ஃப்ரேமை பொறுத்து. ரைட்? தேசத்தை வச்சுட்டு நான் சொன்னேன், அதாவது இங்க இருக்கக்கூடியது இன்னொன்னுத்தோட கம்பைன் பண்றச்ச ரெண்டும் சண்டை போடுற மாதிரி இருக்கு, ஒண்ணு இன்னொன்னத்தை கவர் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கு. அதனால்தான் உங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த ஆகாசமும் பூமியும் எங்க மறையிறது எங்க சேர்றதுன்னே தெரியாம இருக்குங்கிற அடுத்ததுல. So you can take it as தேச this thing also or காலம் as you said, which is also beautiful.
இன்னொன்னு சாகரஹ நிஸ்ஸசார இவ. இங்க நிஸ்ஸசாரங்கிறது சரதி தாத்து இல்லையா மேடம்?
எஸ், நிஸ்ஸரதினா வெளி வருகிறது.
ஓகே ஓகே
ஓகே. நமஸ்தே சங்கரி மहोदय, you had something?
नमस्ते महोदय. शैवलोत्पलभृङ्गानाम् इति श्लोकः सामान्यतया रात्रौ विकसन्ति पुष्पाणि वर्णानि एवं भवन्ति किं मल्लिका पुष्पं वा? पुनः गन्धः अपि अधिकः भवति.
Yes, correct. கௌமுதி ஜீவனஹ இत्यपि there are இல்லையா, அந்த கௌமுதி ஜீவனஹான்னு சக்கோர பக்ஷிய சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி கௌமுதி வந்த உடனே there are some flowers which also bloom, and before they start blooming itself in the night queenலாம் மொட்டு வைக்கிறச்சையே it starts giving out a lovely smell.
ஆமா, इत्युक्ते श्वेतवर्णः सम्यक् दृश्यते किल रात्रौ. एवम् अनन्तरं
it was so dark that you could not see it also. there அல்லியில் வந்து சில அல்லி எல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு வந்து சிவப்பு கலர்லயும் இருக்கு, there are some in very dark blue colored flowers also. सरसीषु एव अत्र उक्तम्.
अस्तु अस्तु, न तद् श्लोकस्य विषयेण एवं ईश्वरः तादृशव्यवस्थां कृतवान् इति. पुनः एतत् हरितां मुखे तमांसि सान्द्री भवन्ति, तं श्लोकम् अहं न अवगतवती. इदानीं महोदय उक्तवान्, भवती अपि पुनः देशविषये उक्तवती, तथापि सम्यक्तया मया न अवगतम्.
तथा सान्द्री भवन्ति यथा स्वं स्वं वाप्नुवन्ति. as it, அதாவது நல்ல அது இருட்டு ஆக 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 என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, ஒரு இருட்டு இன்னொரு இருட்டை கவர் பண்றது, இன்னொரு இருட்டோட சண்டை போடுற மாதிரி இருக்கு. ஒரு இருட்டை வந்து obstruct பண்றதுன்னு அர்த்தம். So think of it, don't think of it as one huge mass of darkness, but think of it as one darkness confined by either space or time. So there is another darkness which is confined by another space and another time. So one will envelop the other, or one will obstruct the other, fight with the other to be more prominent than the other.
हरितां मुखे इत्युक्ते
हरितां मुखे दिशां मुखे दिशां प्रारम्भे. அதனால்தான் நான் வந்து தேச விசேஷம்னு எடுத்தேன். ஹரித் இத்யுக்தே ககுப், திக் இது.
திக் इति अर्थे. अस्तु.
as you proceed, நமக்கு வந்து இப்போ ஒரு இடத்துல நிக்கறச்சே நமக்கு பக்கத்துல வேணா நமக்கு வந்து we feel that things are a little lighter and we are able to see things, but beyond a point, within 6 inches you will find that it is darker. That tamas will be fighting over this and trying to envelop this tamas. இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி. So it becomes darker and darker as you go inside a cave. அந்த மாதிரி யோசிச்சுக்கோங்க.
धन्यवादः महोदय.
Any other questions? Yeah. Okay. Then we'll meet next week. Namas Sundaranathaya tasmai halasya vasine chatushshti vidhalila yenakari bhuvastale.